Hey everyone, my name's Elizabeth and I'm the owner of Snowmad Digital. I've been getting a lot of emails lately about this article that I wrote about the not advertising. A lot of it is coming from wedding venues and people that are just reading it and don't quite understand everything that I'm talking about in the article. So I kind of wanted to break down this article for you, maybe make it a little bit easier to digest everything. So I'll jump right in. So everyone in the wedding industry knows what the Knot and Wedding Wire are. They are online platforms that you can either have a free listing on or a paid listing on. Um, I think a lot of wedding vendors are kind of finding that they don't love the leads that they're getting on the Knot and Wedding Wire. I guess my main caveat is if I go over here and I request a quote from this vendor, typically what's going to happen is it's going to show a list of a bunch of other wedding vendors that are in the area and wedding venues that are in the area. So even if you're paying for a listing on here, wedding couples are just like completely bombarded with wedding venue choices, and that doesn't really serve anyone, does it? It's just not good for anyone. So the wedding venues that are smart are starting to figure out paying for SEO and paying for Google Ads and figuring out how to make their website stand out more. So, I mean, in general, most of my clients, I only have one client now that pays for the Knot and Wedding Wire, and all my other wedding venue clients, they don't pay for it. They were sick of getting low quality leads. And when we looked at a few spreadsheets from different wedding venues that looked at, how they got to the website all the way to a signed contract, the percentage of people that actually turned into a signed contract from the Knot and Wedding Wire were pretty significantly low. Um, so if you've read this blog, oops, looks like I need to fix that picture, then you'll kind of understand that the whole point of this blog is that when you're paying for advertising on the Knot and Wedding Wire, you're really not doing yourself a huge favor. What you should be doing is investing those dollars in search engine optimization and search engine marketing. So let me give you an example here. If I go to an incognito browser and I type in Northern California wedding venues, so of course you've got Here Comes the Guide that pulls up. The first listing you see is actually my client, Mountain House Estate. So you're probably wondering, how did I get my client who is in Cloverdale, California, to be the first choice that shows for Northern California wedding venues on this local listing? And this local map listing is important because it's the first thing you see pretty much on a desktop, and it's the first thing you see on a phone too, before you start getting to all these other listings. So why is that important? Well, when it comes to showing up on Google, you definitely want to be on the first page, but you already knew that, right? That's nothing new. But what you might not know is that if you can work to get yourself to the lead on that map pack, you're going to get a lot more people clicking through to your website. So, and I'm not saying you shouldn't also show up in like the local listings, but what you really should be focused on is making sure that you're showing up in that map listing. And I talk in a few of my other blogs on here about how to make sure that your Google My Business profile stands out. But it's not just about your Google My Business profile. Some other factors that impact whether you show up or not is basically the domain authority and the quality of your website and how much content is on your website relevant to that search term. So for instance, for Mountain House Estate, I wrote an entire blog about Northern California wedding venues. This is one of the main reasons why they show up, is because I have this whole blog on here. And it's got a lot of information. And I make sure that these blogs are really optimized so that whenever you're working on that, it's going to show up definitely on the top page of Google. So there's no easy or quick solution to writing blog posts. You can't just hire any old blog writer these days. You have to make sure that the blog writer that you're hiring knows how to optimize those blog posts, knows exactly what keywords need to go in there, knows what NLP words need to go in there. those are just a few things at the top of my mind. So, as you know, organic SEO does take a lot of time to kind of come to fruition. I have actually sped that up for my clients by adding an instance indexing plugin to my clients' website. So, what that means is that um, whenever I update a post or add a new post, it automatically gets updated in Google's algorithm as well as being in other search engines. So the reason that's important is because sometimes it can take weeks or months for your SEO work to come to fruition, but I've actually figured out a way to make it work a little bit faster for my clients. So it still does take time for your content to rank, and your content is not the only factor that determines if your content ranks, if that makes sense. So what I suggest for my clients to do in the meanwhile is supplement with Google Ads. And I know a lot of people use Facebook. The thing is anyone can set up a Facebook ad. And if you're watching this and you're thinking, well, I tried to, and it's not that hard. I guess what I mean is that anyone that's ever worked in marketing could easily set up a Facebook ad. It takes me about 5 minutes. It's so easy. And I think that's why everyone does it. What's not as easy is setting up a really good ad on Google and becoming a Google partner. So I actually decided to become a Google partner, mainly because I wanted to be able to showcase my expertise in Google Ads and be able to demonstrate to my clients without just telling them that I know what I'm doing, but actually like showing them that I am a Google partner. So I do have that badge and banner. You have to go through certain stipulations and take tests in order to become a Google partner. The reason I recommend Google Ads over Facebook or Pinterest is really because I've looked at the data over the years and the ROI is simply higher on Google Ads. People that are on Facebook or Pinterest, they're not necessarily like in the about to purchase phase. They might have just gotten engaged. They might not even be looking at a wedding venue. Facebook is demographic based. So that means that your advertising is you're picking an audience and you're saying, I want to show my message to this audience. Google Ads, on the other hand, says, I want to show my ads to people that are searching for wedding venues in Northern California. So you can set up Google Ads Express. That's pretty easy. The only problem I have with that, because again, that's really easy to set up. And I've run into times where clients are paying an exorbitant amount of money and then come to find out they've only had Google Ads Express set up by someone. Google Ads Express is kind of like a rudimentary version of Google Ads in that you pretty much just put in a couple search terms like wedding venue or reception hall, and it shows your ad based on that. When you go through the full Google Ads setup, you can actually pick your keywords. And what's really important is the keyword planner. So the keyword planner is a tool in Google that helps you because it lets you know what keywords are forecasted to be trending in the future. And it also lets you know what keywords are more or less difficult to bid on. So why is that important? Well, if there's 10 other people, including the Knot and Wedding Wire, that are paying to advertise for Northern California wedding venues, unless you're spending a stupid amount of money every month on Google Ads, you're probably not going to show up at the top. You're probably going to be like the 5th or 6th ad result. And I find that a lot, especially with those bigger, broader keywords like California wedding venues or Texas wedding venues, is that everyone is bidding on those. What people seem to forget is that there's a lot of niche keywords out there that aren't bid on as often and are a lot easier to rank for. So not only does that save you money, but then you're also like not competing with 6 other people in the ad bag at the top of your desktop or on the top of your phone that are trying to bid for that keyword. So that's kind of a summary of what this blog is about. Is you can spend money on the Knot and Wedding Wire, and you probably will get a few leads every year. That being said, if you were to funnel that money instead into a Google AdWords campaign or really working on your organic SEO, it's going to pay off in the short term and it's going to pay off more in the long term. My clients that have been with me for years now, I'm really seeing that shift. If you look at the screenshot right here, I'm really seeing that shift go between people that are searching organically to, people that are paying for ads, people that are, what a goal completion is, I guess I should back up, is whenever someone fills out a contact form and shows intent to schedule a tour, I consider that a goal completion or a conversion on a website. So I don't really care about website clicks. Who cares about website clicks? A lot of people click over to your website and they click right off of it. What I care about is people that are actually going to convert, that are interested in scheduling a tour, and are interested in getting more information about your pricing if it's not already upfront on the website. I will say, I've noticed that Here Comes the Guide actually does a pretty decent job with my clients, East Coast and West Coast, as far as like getting leads. And Here Comes the Guide is actually pretty affordable. So I'd say if you are going to do like a directory outlet, go with Here Comes the Guide. It's really affordable. So that's kind of a summary of this entire blog post. And really what I want you to take away from this is that you don't really need to feel like you're locked or forced into advertising. And I know a lot of wedding venues have been burned by web design companies and SEO companies that promise them the moon and the stars. And the fact of the matter is that you can't just do like a all-in-one solution or like a one-fits-all solution for the wedding venue industry specifically. A wedding is such an emotional decision and purchase. And what resonates with brides in California or, a certain type of wedding venue is not going to work with, wedding couples in the Midwest or on the East Coast. It's just, you just can't create like a cookie cutter plan for your business. And I would love to sit here and tell you that you can just press one button and all the leads can come in. But I really have a different SEO and marketing plan for all of my clients, to be perfectly honest. And that really is because a lot of them have worked with companies in the past that have promised them if they pay this amount for a tour and they get this many tours in the door and they pay per tour, and it just hasn't worked out that well for them. So if you're watching this and you've been burned in the past, just know that not everyone out there is a total scam artist. Not everyone's trying to just swindle you and take all your money and just make you pay for things that you shouldn't be paying for and trying to trick you. But I will say, the wedding venue industry is just so competitive now, and it seems like there's a venue like opening up like every other day that's a rustic wedding venue, whether it's like a barn or a house style. And God, I hate that word rustic. Everyone's using it, but it's getting more competitive. So you really do have to be a lot smarter about how you are going to spend your advertising dollar and how you are going to get more leads coming into your website moving forward. And some other things to start thinking about are like, propositioning your wedding venue and the information you want to present on your website and what kind of client you want to attract. So I want to encourage you to really think about all those things, keep that in mind. And I guess to answer my question, is the not advertising worth it? I'm going to go with a big fat no. Nope. If you're looking and seeing that you're getting a lot of people that are coming in and taking up your time, which I'm seeing a lot from my clients in the past, is they would have tours that were scheduled and they're coming in and they're not really qualified. That's absolutely not worth your time. Imagine if you just instead use your website as like a funnel and you let everyone know what you offer, how much you offer it at, or even like a ballpark price to give them, some sort of an idea. And you just go ahead and get rid of all those tire kickers and people that are going to waste your time, or whoever's doing your tours wasting their time. And instead put that money into something that's a little bit more effective and a little bit smarter for your marketing budget. So hopefully that covers it. This is the first video I have ever recorded. So hopefully you found it useful. And if there's anything else that you can think of, feel free to reach out to me. My email is elizabeth@snowmaddigital.com. Or you can use my contact form on my website or even schedule a call with me. So I hope you have a great day. Take care.